Call council meeting to order tonight. We have quorum present. Tonight will be led in the invocation by Pastor Kip Rosen from Ashbury United Methodist Church here in Sioux Falls. After the invocation, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. So at this time, I'd ask everyone to please rise.
Let us pray. Oh, gracious God, you've called prophets and anointed leaders throughout the ages. I pray that you might grant your blessing upon these leaders of Sioux Falls. I ask that you might bless these men and women as they serve this city, that they might truly love the people that they serve, that they might know their joys and share their struggles, that they might dream their dreams, that they might work for the common good. In your Spirit, O God, I ask that you empower them as they serve your people and bring glory to your name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved, Jameson.
Jameson moved. Is there a second? Litz seconded. Further motions? Seeing no further motions, all in favor of the motion to approve the consent agenda, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Council members Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega? Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
All members present voted 7 yes, 1 excused. The consent agenda has been approved. Now, is there a motion to approve the regular agenda?
So moved, Litz.
Litz, is there a second?
Second, Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh, is there further motions?
Yes, I would like to make an amendment to the regular agenda. I'd like to make a motion to move item number 54 above item 29 for customer service reasons.
So you'd move that above 29?
Yes, please.
Okay, that's a motion. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Costello seconded. What that is, that's just so we don't have to, so if anybody's here talk about the budget for public input, they can do so and don't have to wait till the end of the evening. So it's the motion to move 54 above 29. Motion been made and seconded. Further discussion on that motion. See no further discussion. All in favor of that motion will vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Council members Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
That motion has been approved, 7 yes, 1 excused. Now we're back to the main motion as amended. Further discussion on that, or is there further motions? Seeing no further motions, all in favor of approving the regular agenda as amended will vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Council members Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
All members present voted. The regular agenda has been approved. 7 yes, 1 excused, as amended. This is the time that we set aside, a period of 5 minutes for anyone that wishes to address the council. What we ask is, as you come forward, if you would just give your name and then your address. And at this time, does anybody wish to address the council? I see no one that is coming forward, so we'll move into the regular agenda, and we have item 54 and item 54.
Public hearing on a proposed resolution adopting the budget for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2008. Adoption of the resolution is set for Monday, September 10th, 2007.
Does anyone wish to address the council in the audience on item 54 on the proposed 2008 budget? I see no one that is coming forward on that, so we will move on to item 29.
Conditional use permit appeal, 7400 West 22nd Street. The conditional use permit was for assisted living center for up to 8 people. The Planning Commission approved the conditional use permit with the following stipulations. 1, change in use permit is provided by building services. 2, prior to the change in use, the applicant provides a certificate of license provided by the state of South Dakota. And 3, the conditional use permit is granted for this applicant owner only.
Good evening, Mike Cooper, Planning and Building Services. Tonight we have an appeal of a conditional use permit request for assisted living. The property is an existing single-family residence. It is located at the northwest corner of 22nd Street and Sertoma, West 22nd Street and Sertoma Avenue. The building is currently been approved for a daycare of up to 12 children. We had a previous conditional use permit come in for this property that would allow the daycare to expand more than 12 children. That was recommended for denial by the Planning Commission based on neighborhood concerns. The applicant initially made an appeal to the City Council and then subsequently withdrew that appeal and has now come forward with a revised or new conditional use permit for assisted living within this single-family residence. That new conditional use permit was considered by the Planning Commission last month. There were neighborhood concerns expressed at the meeting. The Planning Commission did vote in favor of the conditional use permit with the stipulations, and that decision is being appealed to you tonight by representatives of the neighborhood who are still concerned about the changing use of this property. I personally have not had a chance to meet with the neighborhood about this until just tonight, so I'm not sure specifically what their issues are, what their concerns are, but there are some folks here tonight that would like to speak to this, and the owner of the house, the applicant, is also here tonight. The proposal for the assisted living, as we understand it, based on the number of people that would be in this facility, there would not be a requirement for additional off-street parking. There would be minor modifications required to the building. The assisted living use is allowed within this residential zoning district by a conditional use, along with some other land uses that are in the zoning ordinance. And if you have any more specific questions, I probably should defer those to the person that's making the request.
Questions of Mike on item number 29. Bob? James?
Mike, does this fall within the realm then of group homes type?
No, this is a separate land use,
Okay,
so it's not under that same category.
thank you.
Other questions? Not others that wish to address the council on item number 29? And again, we just ask you your name and address, please. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Giselle Sheppy. I reside with my family at 1400 South Lindenwall Drive, which is directly north of 7400 West 22nd Street. The reason for the appeal is to answer questions and concerns we have as a neighborhood. At the last meeting, it was verbally indicated that there would be no use for family daycare at this location. A major concern is if the address of 7400 West 22nd Street is to have a conditional use permit to operate as an assisted living establishment, when does the family daycare facility become terminated? What is the transition period between family daycare and assisted living? If there is going to be construction inside of the building to meet building code for the assisted living project, we assume then that there will be no one living in the house. And if that's the case, then the family daycare could not be operating due to city codes. We would like a stipulation granted to provide a termination date for the family daycare. Our second concern is the traffic at that corner. We understand that parking for the residents are adequate according to building codes. However, our concern, or my concern as a parent, would be the traffic that will be coming and going at that establishment. Will there not be friends and family visiting the residents of the home? Where will they park? How much traffic is going to occur with each residence's need for doctor's appointment, shopping, etc.? Is there going to be a visitation period established? We see more traffic occurring in that corner, not only with Memorial Middle School, but also with the residents' friends and family. Again, a major concern for the safety of the children in the neighborhood, especially when there is a house immediately across the street and next door to this address with small children. We understand there are different levels of different levels of care for assisted living. What security measures will be enforced for those residents, whatever their age? As an example, my grandma, bless her soul, was in an assisted living establishment and would end up taking a walk and not know she wandered off. She had Alzheimer's, so she didn't know she was out and about. It is unfortunate that this house, as nice as it is, was not left on the market long enough for sale so a family could purchase and enjoy. We were looking forward to a new neighbor, not a facility or a center or any kind of commercial use building. We purchased homes or built homes in the area with the understanding that the residences were going to be single-family dwellings, according to the covenances. There are plenty of assisted living locations with vacancies within our area to accommodate people in need of assisted living. They would have the proper care, activities, socialization amongst each other, and the facilities they require. We ask that you deny the conditional use permit for 7400 West 22nd Street. And if this does pass, then we ask to get our questions and concerns answered, as previously mentioned, the family daycare. Any questions?
Questions? Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Others that wish to address the council? No one else wishes to address the council on item number 29?
Verlin Fast, I'm the homeowner at 7400 West 22nd. Some of this information you already know. I'll try to make it quick here. Previously, I had applied for the daycare center. After receiving much concern and grief out of a few neighbors, I made the decision that a better alternative would be assisted living. I've been in this field before, and I am familiar with it. I withdrew the appeal from the daycare to from the city council, you guys, and applied for the assisted living permit. The issues and concerns at that time were the increased noise, traffic in a parking lot. I also felt I could eliminate all these issues, and I also felt it would be well appreciated and accepted as an excellent alternative. The noise, the residents would be living out their years, not running around the backyard yelling and screaming. I'm sure the city hasn't had any complaints on elderly and noise. The traffic, they do not own their own vehicles. They do not drive. They need assistance to live. They need to be physician ordered to even live in the house. They're not going out and about. The registered nurse would be the only one living in the home with a car. The residents have their rides arranged for in advance, mostly by paratransit. A concern previously at the time was a parking lot. We obviously are not requesting a parking lot. The home already has more than enough required spaces. Our family of 6 with 4 teenagers, 3 of them driving, making a total of 5 cars, plus the current 12 kids being picked up and dropped off at daycare, has some impact on the neighborhood. Commercial vehicles have impact when they're parked in the streets and in driveways, and campers and RVs when they're parked in streets and driveways and with the slide outs pulled out, they have an impact. Having an assisted living home with one RN living in the home, her being the only one able to drive in a 5,800 square foot plus home with 2 double driveways, has no impact. Another concern is what was stated tonight, that it's a business in our neighborhood. There are no changes being done on the exterior of the home. This assisted living home already looks like exactly what it's going to look like when it's done. It looks like a beautiful home, and it'll stay that way. It's been difficult having a 5,800 square foot home with a city assessed value of $519,000 when the other homes in this development came in at an average of a $319,000 assessed value. This has had a great impact on ourselves and the resale value. The home was on the market for many months for sale by owner. It was also on the market many months with a realtor, and it was on the front cover of the Real Estate Weekly. The home will not sell. It needs to have a purpose. I spoke with a neighbor It's a Mrs. Wyden a couple weeks ago. They live directly across the street from Prairie Crossings Assisted Living Facility, which is right to the south of Memorial Middle School. I asked them what that's like for neighbors. They said it's wonderful. They park their cars in their lot in the winter. It's never full. They're just wonderful neighbors to have. Prairie Crossings Assisted Living is a 24-bed facility. I've driven by there many times these last couple weeks just to see how many cars are around there all the time, how many people visit. And on an average, I see 3 cars, and that's a 24-bed facility. Once again, it will not affect the impact area. Everyone on the west side of Sioux Falls knows of that big house behind Memorial Middle School, the one with the big wraparound porch. It stays that way. I understand the city's procedures that anyone can appeal to city council here. This appeal was for questions and concerns. Everyone's questions and concerns were addressed last month. So please just approve this request tonight, just like the commissioners have already done so. I will answer any questions anyone has tonight. Make that attempt.
Thank you.
Thank
Questions? Dee?
Mr. Fast, I have driven that area very carefully, actually. I actually think that is a very good location in many ways for daycare or assisted living, actually. But I'm still struggling on this issue. I'm a little bit confused, and my question for you tonight is, so have you had a neighborhood meeting recently on the new plan for an assisted living here?
No, I haven't, with some of the concerns and grief that it has caused with my wife and my 12-year-old and some of the uncomfortable moments that took place out in the neighborhood. I didn't want to do that. I feel like I could build a neighborhood park and free of charge, and there'd be questions and concerns as to who would take care of the lawn and stuff, and I just feel...
I respect your feelings on that. You know, on the other hand, quite often, almost always in these situations, I think that, I'm just speaking for myself, not for the rest of the councilors, but we usually have neighborhood meetings, you know, to just kind of help see if there's any compromise and get the issues kind of worked out in the neighborhood before we come here. And I'm not trying to cause any extra grief to your life right now, but because of how I just am confused on what to do on this, I'm going to make a motion for a 2-week deferral until September 17th. And
I more than agree with you, other than it didn't seem possible at this time.
And maybe, however, some city staff people could help get through some of those other, hurdles.
Can we find out what their questions and concerns are? Because what was before?
I just, from a just a real, when I just drove there several weeks ago, in fact, because it is so close to schools and churches and right there on a very busy street, I just didn't share some of the concerns of the neighbors, but I'm not a neighbor, and I respect their feelings also. But I guess we've just been dealing with this spot of land for a while, and I'm just still struggling. I'm sorry to tell you that, but I am, and I was wondering if, I don't know if there would be any support up here for a deferral for 2 weeks, but I'm making that motion.
That is your motion, right?
Yes, that is my
Okay, to
motion.
defer till September 17th, would that be?
Yes.
Okay, is there a second for that motion?
I'll second that.
Brown seconds it. Further discussion on that motion? Is there any discussion on the motion to defer until September 17th? Bob? James?
I don't know that it's fair to defer until we've heard all the testimony of the folks that came here tonight to talk about this. That's my only concern with doing the motion right now. I think we should hear what the people who have come have to say before we defer.
Sure, I'm very happy to withdraw my
Well,
motion.
you can leave it with the understanding that the motion will be there, but you want others that wish to testify, we can surely do that.
I agree with Councilor Jameson.
We'll hold the
on that.
motion.
Thank
We
you,
can hold
Councilor.
that.
I appreciate the opportunity to answer some questions tonight. This has been a
Are there
long
questions?
process.
One of the things that, as I understand, you'll be required to have a state permit.
Yes.
And the state permit has guidelines as to the qualifications of the people administering the home, and those type things. And so have you met all those requirements, and do you have a permit yet?
There are stringent requirements. The state license is given once all the work is completed. It's required to have an LPN. I would actually have an RN living in the home, which is the step up.
And then, is it up to 8 people? Is that, as I understand it?
Yes, no. Originally, I thought it could be up to 8 people without installation of a sprinkler system. The building's requirement being it's the square footage of the building puts it in a I-4 category, which requires a sprinkler system, even if I only had one person in the home. There's currently space available on the main floor for 3 double bed rooms and 3 single bed rooms. So that would be 10, 11.
You agree to sprinkle, I assume, or you wouldn't be coming this far.
Oh, yeah, that would
And-
have to be done in order to become
then-
state licensed. And
One of the things that was discussed, I think, as a concern of some of the neighbors was when does the transition take place between a daycare and the assisted living? I assume you can't have both at the same time.
right, that's correct. It's the change in use being going from this to that, although we could actually change that use and take that home daycare out of the home at any given moment. We've been waiting to do that because our new home isn't currently has a fenced-in yard, and this home does.
Okay, and then the other concern, I think, was the parking and so forth. You've addressed that partially, comparing it to other homes. Typically, what is the visitation? I assume these are elderly and frail, typically who need the assisted living. What type of visitation do they normally have?
It isn't specifically spelled out in our policies and procedures, visitation hours. That's something that could be done, but most generally, visitation isn't going to be at odd hours since we realize who they are visiting with. They're not going to be up late.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Fast, you had indicated that you were going to have up to 8, and you've modified that to, did you say 10 or 11?
Well, it could, after blueprinting it out a little further extensively to become the state qualifications requires 200 square feet for a double room, 120 square feet for a single. And based on that, how the main floor lays out, there could be 9 rooms, 3 doubles and 3 singles on the main floor. That could be its capacity. Whether or not I lay it out that way is to be seen depending on how this turns out here tonight.
And the second level will be used for?
The second level is living quarters for the nurse.
Okay. What type of staffing are you going to have? Assuming maximum capacity, what would be your staffing?
Just that one RN and a fill-in RN or a LPN or an assistant during the evening hours occasionally and on the Saturdays and Sundays, so the RN has a breakaway time too.
Would there be 24-hour staffing?
It is 24/7. There's always one person on staff. State required.
Kermit?
Yeah, I was curious, how many months have you been involved in trying to get this approved?
I believe this started about 8 months ago in March.
8 months ago?
Yeah, initially with the daycare and switching over to this. I thought this would be much better received than it was. The second.
Other questions? No, thank you very much. Others that wish to address the council on item number 29? Seeing, okay.
Good evening. My name is Chad Sheppy. I reside at 1400 South Lindenwald Drive, also directly north of the property that we're here talking about. I guess, you know, when we built our house next to this, we were understanding it was a single-family dwelling. Would I have bought that lot, had I known something like this was possible? I would not. You know, I don't know how many people would have. In fact, that's why Ronnie Enterprises is having a problem trying to sell a lot directly across the street. It's been sold once until this started, Since then, that person has withdrawn his money and left. And so obviously it has some form of impact on the resale value of whether it be land or an existing home. So obviously it affects the resale, what they're worth. Mr. Fast has commented on the value of his home. I feel for him. I did not tell him what type of house to build, what size, where to build it, anything like that. I didn't tell him to go build a second house so that he had to sell one of them. It's just, I don't see where our neighborhood should have to absorb the faults or the financial difficulties of somebody's decisions is where I'm coming from. I don't expect anybody to do that for me. I wouldn't want them to. I feel that's a big burden to put on a neighborhood, especially when there's not one person in the neighborhood that is for this. It'd be different if, it was 50-50 or 60-40 or anything, but nobody, is for this. And so, I mean, if anything it's done, it's brought the whole neighborhood closer together from discussing this, other than with the fact of Mr. Fast talking to us about it. It's just gotten to the point where, if we're not here discussing this, we're going to be here discussing the next thing he wants to put in this house. Mr. Fast asked me if I had any suggestions. I don't. Not my place to suggest. My suggestion is sell the home. I would prefer to have a family living next door with kids that my kids can play with or anything like that. I know, like you had mentioned, it's not a bad place for it. I understand that, but it still affects the neighborhood. Whether it's a good place for it or not. Obviously, it wasn't. The neighborhood wasn't designed for this because it wasn't zoned for it, and it needs a conditional use permit to exist. So, it's not what they had in mind when they designed the whole neighborhood. And it's not what we had in mind when all of us made a major investment and built a house in the neighborhood. I guess that's about all I really have to say about it. I'll answer any questions anybody might have.
Thank you very much. Kermit?
Yeah, I was just wondering what the spillover effect is from this proposed, assisted living facility. You're not going to have any noise to speak of. You don't have any problem with lights, smells. What's the spillover effect?
Well, I think the major drawback is, the form of a commercial use of a residential property. Like they said, it's not transferable if Mr. Fast ever decides to sell the property, or in the unforeseen event that it doesn't make, is not successful and doesn't go. Where at this point, he's already reconstructed or changed the inside of this building with a sprinkler system, like we talked about, and doing a lot of changing to it, and it does not transfer to the next buyer. What's that building going to be used for next in the event of something like that happens? Then I just think the only way to go is, or the only way that it will go is to a full commercial use at that point. So I guess, we're all kind of looking long-term down the road as to what kind of problems this could create versus, what's there. I told Mr. Fast that I felt that at that time, 8, assisted living, now it's 11, or whatever. I told him it was a better idea than the 48-kid daycare he was trying to put in there. And I still agree with that. But we're just trying to, figure out the long-term effect on it, I guess. As that's just kind of the worries that all the neighbors have. There's a lot more neighbors that, all of them oppose it, but not everybody could be here this evening. Some are out of town and have kids in school and school activities.
First of all, I just want to tell you, I really appreciate you coming tonight and telling us how you feel. That's very important for neighbors to do that, so thank you. My question is probably very much along the line of Councilor Stager's questions, is that, because, it seems to me, I don't have any small children at this point, just a beautiful 2-year-old grandson, but I mean, it just seems like our community is badly in need of more and more high-quality, well-supervised child care centers. And as our population of South Dakota gets older and older and older, is that it seems to me that we are going to need more and more assisted living facilities. And so I guess I was just curious, where do you want those facilities to be located in our city?
Well, I guess, however they should be zoned, or, if a person knows that you're going to build something like that, it can be kind of designed for that. versus, just trying to turn a home into it in such a neighborhood. Or just like talking to some other developers, they said, well, we could always divide off certain areas of land, and it's not really much different than the daycares, stuff like that. They're kind of have designated zonings, and it's not required. I don't believe it's required to have a conditional use permit where they build most of those. It just seems like we're trying to find a use for this residence that everybody'd be a lot happier if there was a family living in it. But like you said, it doesn't seem like too bad a place for it.
And I guess, I respect your views on that, of course, is that, when it was several weeks ago that I drove around and then drove around again a little bit longer and so forth, and, and personally, I just felt like I could have possibly agreed a little bit more with you if it been in the middle of the block, but to me it's right off Sertoma, it's right on the corner, it's right beside the school, on the other side is the church. I realize I don't live in that neighborhood, so I want to emphasize that again, but very family oriented, like I'm sure you are, but honestly it seemed like almost a perfect location to me for either a daycare or assisted living, and I was actually very disappointed when the daycare application didn't get to us even, so that's just where I'm struggling.
Other questions? Pat?
Is it fair to say that your concerns are based on the perceived negative impact to your property value, not the fact that there's an assisted living? Is that correct?
I guess it's not solely looking at the resale value. It's just kind of the overall long-term picture for the whole neighborhood. It's already obviously taken an impact on the sale of the lots, the sale of homes. There's a house across the street still for sale. And granted, the market might be a little slower than normal, but usually they sell a little bit quicker than that. There's X amount of people that are just kind of waiting to see what this is going to become or not become. And just from people stopping and talking to myself and talking to other people. And obviously the whole neighborhood's worried about it too, because they don't know what's going to happen to, like you mentioned, their value. Obviously everybody feels it's going to decrease it if it's already affecting the sale of new homes and the lots. They obviously feel it's going to decrease it.
But are you concerned about the notion of 9 elderly people living in that home, or is that somehow a concern for the?
Well, some traffic might be a little bit of a concern, but as far as the amount of people, the elderly people living in there, I guess, is not really a concern of mine, because I have no problem with that. I guess my more concern in it would be is the reconstruction of that home, that it never be able to be sold as a residential home again. That no matter what, it's always going to have to be some form of commercial property there. And how far they change it, I don't know. But I guess, like I say, it's going to kind of limit the possibilities for that particular property. Is what I'm seeing as far as how much, because it is going to take extensive changing and reconstruction on the inside to format for whatever the state requires, as far as like we talked about the sprinkler system, stuff like that.
Okay. Other questions? None. Thank you very much. Others that wish to address the council on item number 29?
If I could just take a minute here. I agree with you, Dee. The neighbors here, they live on Tayberry, which is that street that runs down the development. I live on 22nd Street on the corner. The home is not in the middle of the development. It's not an assisted living home coming into the middle of the development, which is also RS1. I am on that outside corner. The alternative as to not being the assisted living home with that, would be less traffic than a 24-bed home, like I mentioned earlier about the 3 cars in the lot most of the time. The alternative is a family of 6 with 5 cars and 12 kids with daycare coming and going. There's some traffic for you. One person living in the home. I guess, and I do apologize for not having the neighborhood meeting, but I felt there couldn't be any resolve to that because the issues just are not going to go away. And I don't know what I could have accomplished by that. And I really don't think anything's going to change in 2 weeks either. So, I don't know, if you guys want to lend your vote, then appealing, that would suit me fine.
I have a question for Mike. Mike, we're not rezoning this property. This is just a conditional use permit. So if we were to approve the conditional use and they operated as assisted living for 5 years and then they decide that's not what they want to do and they sell it, it's conditioned only on their particular application. So doesn't the home just become a residential home again?
Yes, the building itself would revert back to a single-family residence until some other conditional use would be applied for and approved. So even another owner that would like to take it over as an assisted living center or a daycare would have to come back through with a new conditional use permit request.
Does that offer the opponents any counsels?
Other questions? Others that wish to address the council on item number 29?
Mike, a couple other questions for you. I assume that this property's been zoned this all along, correct?
Yes, yeah, it's always been residential.
And if the deferral would pass, does planning staff, would they be able to help facilitate a meeting with the neighborhood to talk about accommodations to make the neighborhood?
We could make that attempt now that we have a better handle on what some of the questions are.
Okay, thank you.
We don't typically attend neighborhood meetings, but in this case, we would be willing to help try and facilitate that.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay, further questions of Mike or anyone else? Bob?
I'd just like to point out that if this is gone through and made into a assisted living center with the changes that are going to go in there, if they do put sprinklers in there, modifications to the kitchen, the bathroom, doorways, such as that, the chances of it going back to residential are even more remote, for the next person that be looking at buying it. I just wanted that to be known.
Okay, thank you. Others that wish to address the council on item 29? Okay, Bob Jameson.
Just as a comment, I wish I'd have had sprinklers in my house when I was raising 9 kids, because we had a fire one time that would have solved the problem, so I don't know that it would deter me from buying one with a sprinkler system. Okay.
Got that on the records. All set. We have a motion that's been made and seconded to defer item 29 until September 17th. I think that was the motion. Isn't that right? Yeah. Are there any further comments? That motion is before us. So let's take that motion. All in favor of deferring item 29 until September 17th would vote yes. Those opposed would vote no.
Council members Jameson,
No.
Kavanaugh,
No.
Knutson,
Yes.
Litz,
No.
Staggers,
No.
Brown,
Yes.
Costello.
Yes.
That motion failed, so we have no motion before us. Is there further discussion on item number 29, or is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I would move for approval.
Okay, the motion is to approve by Kavanaugh. Is there a second?
Second, Jameson.
Jameson seconded. Further comments on the motion to approve?
Well, one of the things, and I can understand the apprehension of the neighbors. After having been on the council for maybe longer than some would like, the thing we have found that when we have granted a conditional use permit, whether it's a group home or this type of facility, we never hear any feedback that's bad. And I say that, I think, without any reservations. Most of those people have found that these type facilities are good neighbors, and they do not detract from the value of your property in the long run. As a matter of fact, there will be no signage at this house. There will be nothing to indicate that it's a group home, so John Q. citizen driving by will never know that it's a group home. Only those who are neighbors will know. And I would hope that the group home, I call it a group home, or the assisted living will be a good or better neighbor than I was with 9 kids. I would not have been welcome in a lot of neighborhoods with 9 kids because there wasn't just 4 cars. There were more than that on many occasions, and I had a greater impact on that neighborhood than some people did, so thank you.
Further comments, Kevin?
Well, we always knew that's why Bob had his own car dealership. I'm going to support this motion, obviously. I think it's important for everybody to understand, regardless of what the zoning currently is, we're not changing the zoning, we're doing a conditional use here. The reality of this is that this has been a semi-commercial or retail operation from the beginning. Whether it was a daycare or now if it's going to an assisted living facility, it's still got that commercial element to it. I probably would not have supported a daycare operation had it come to this council because I just believe going from 12 to 48 is a pretty substantial impact to that neighborhood. I think this is much less impact, and I suspect it's probably going to be successful. I would urge your support.
I as well am going to support this, and I know that emotions are raw on this tonight, but I ask that the neighbors get together and work with Mr. Fast to. That's why I supported the deferral. I was hoping you could get together and find some areas of compromise. Even though we don't have the deferral, I hope you'll be willing to do that. And I understand emotions are raw around this, but Mr. Fast, I ask you the same thing. Please work with the neighbors to make this work out to be a good addition to the neighborhood. And Councilor Jameson is correct. I've learned that being on the council too, that having group homes next door is not necessarily a bad thing, so please work with him.
Further comments? We've got a motion to approve item number 29. Motion been made and seconded. Further comments? Seeing no further comments, all in favor of the motion to approve will vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Council members Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
No.
Staggers?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
All members present have voted. We have 6 yes, 1 no, and 1 excused. Item 29 has been approved. Item 30.
New 2007 retail wine license for Tokyo Japanese Cuisine LLC, Tokyo Japanese Cuisine to be operated at 4825 South Louise Avenue, with the conditional use permit being approved on 8/1 of '07, pending final inspection per fire, health, and building services.
We're just going to take them all again. So we want to read them all.
31, new 2007-08 retail malt beverage license for Tokyo Japanese Cuisine LLC, Tokyo Japanese Cuisine to be operated at 4825 South Louise Avenue, with the conditional use permit being approved on 8/1 of '07. 32, special one-day malt beverage and special one-day wine licenses for Dr. Rose Faith to be operated at the Museum of Visual Materials, 500 North Main Avenue on September 15, 2007 for a wedding reception and dance, and October 25, 2007 for a fashion show. Number 33, special one-day liquor license for Great Bear Recreation Park Incorporated, Great Bear Recreation Park, 5901 East Rice Street on September 8, 2007 for a wedding reception.
Lori, go ahead.
All right, Lori Bossman, City Finance Office, and on item 33, we will not need action on that. That has been withdrawn. That was a duplication of a previous request.
Which one was withdrawn?
Item 33.
Okay.
And I can answer questions you have on 30, 31, or 32.
Are there questions of Lori on items 30 to 32? Not, thank you. Others who wish to address the council on any item of 30 to 32? Not, is there a motion by the council to approve items 30, 31, and 32?
So moved. Jamison.
Jamison moved. Is there a second?
Second, Litz.
Kavanaugh seconded. Further comments on that motion to approve 30, 31, and 32? I see no further discussion. All in favor of that motion will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Council members Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
All members present voted. Items 30, 31, 32 have been approved. 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 34.
Deferred action, second reading, rezone 2007-06-23, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at 5109 South Cliff Avenue, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls.
This item has been withdrawn by the petitioner.
It will be noted that item 34 has been withdrawn by the petitioner. Item 35.
Deferred action, second reading, rezone 2007-06-21, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at 301 South Lake Avenue, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls.
This item was deferred. It's a proposal to expand Zomer Automotive by rezoning an existing residential property to commercial. And there were neighbors present last time that had questions. The City Council directed the applicant to have additional neighborhood meetings. The applicant's representative is here tonight to give you an update on those meetings. And I will say that if this rezoning is approved, then a conditional use permit would be required, and the applicant has a conditional use permit pending tomorrow night's Planning Commission agenda, depending on the outcome of this item tonight. But the applicant's representative is here tonight to give you an update on the neighborhood meetings.
Okay, thank you. Questions of Mike? If not, come forward and name and address, please.
Good evening. Kevin Huscherlid with BHI Construction, Harrisburg. We did conduct actually 2 neighborhood meetings, one Monday night and one on Thursday night, and the 2 persons that attended that were the neighbors to the west of the building, of the house, and I think that we have pretty much answered all the questions that they've had. Their feelings were not so much of how anything looked or any the concerns of the construction or any of those issues, but more of the traffic, and I think they've come to realize that there probably isn't going to be a resulting additional amount of traffic put onto their property. I think we've got a viable project here that's going to be good for the neighborhood, and I think it will have no impact on the neighbors that are surrounding that property other than positive impact. The one thing is that I wish to clear up, and I see in the recommendation, the entrances off of 12th Street. Could you go back one? Those entrances are gone. The entrance is right, there we go, thank you. And then the exit will be down closer to off of 11th Street, off the existing driveway that's there right now. Should eliminate any, there will be a fence that's put completely along the alley there, and it should eliminate any traffic from Zomer Motors having people going onto the alleyway and heading out that direction. They'll have their entrance off the lake, exit off of 11th. So if you have any questions for me.
Questions? Bob, let's...
Kevin, I see that you're the possibility of you vacating Lake Avenue. Is it your intention, if you get the vacation there, to use that for your access for Bob's Drive-In as well as this business here?
That'd be correct, yes.
Okay, will you keep, will the street then become essentially a private drive around to the back?
Correct.
So you'll be able to get to your new building from your newly acquired private road?
Immediately access that building, yes. It'll drive directly to the front of the building. Again, then to the north side, there would be, screening, and most of that would stay up on top of the hill if you're familiar with the property. And then the lower portion of the building would be just a place to clean vehicles and prepare them to be ready to sell. Like I said, I think it'll have very minimal impact. We're going to leave the existing trees that are there. Those trees right there would stay. And I think it'll have a nice appearance from the neighborhood side, and from the front side, we'll just have the same appearance that it's had all along, basically. However, the office building will be pushed to that back lot.
Further questions? Not others that wish to address the council on item number 35. See no one coming forward, we will close it. Council discussion, is there a motion, or?
I move for approval of item number 35.
Knutson moves, is there a second?
Second, Jameson.
Jameson seconds. Further discussion on the motion to approve. Kevin?
I'm curious. I thought there was some neighborhood opposition here.
I think, Tim, do you want to address that, please?
I think they understand that it's not going to have a big impact, and they've decided to withdraw from opposing this project.
Bob Litz.
Kevin, I did attend the first meeting. The second meeting I couldn't go to, but the lady that was worried about the impact did call me yesterday, and we spoke at length about it, and I think that she's convinced it's going to be an okay building and that the progress is progress and it's going to move forward, and I think she's resigned herself to that fact.
Further questions? We got a motion that's been made and seconded to approve item number 35. Further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, all in favor of the motion to approve, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Council members Jameson,
Yes.
Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Knutson,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Staggers,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Costello.
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 35 has been approved, 7 yes, 1 excused. Let's go to item 36.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, authorizing the issuance of its sales tax revenue bonds in one or more series, authorizing the use of the proceeds thereof to pay the cost of acquiring land and buildings in the city as part of the city's urban revitalization program, pledging a portion of the sales and use tax proceeds of the city to the payment of said sales tax revenue bonds, fixing the terms of such sales tax revenue bonds, authorizing the execution and delivery of one or more supplemental indentures between the city and the First National Bank of Sioux Falls, and authorizing the sale, execution, and delivery of such sales tax revenue bonds.
It was approximately a year ago, in July, that we started a Mayor's Neighborhood Conservation Program, and this exhibit identifies the area that we targeted for that program. It's located on the west side of Minnesota Avenue over to Koval Avenue, and between 9th Street on the north and 16th Street on the south. The first phases of this conservation program dealt with code enforcement involving a number of different city departments. We are now continuing with that code enforcement process. It's been very successful. We've made a lot of strides. We continue to deal with individual property owners, and our wonderful police force continues to deal with existing violations in the neighborhood. As part of our Neighborhood Conservation Program report that was presented to the council, we identified some potential redevelopment sites, primarily along that corridor of 10th and 11th Streets. These redevelopment sites were based strictly on a visual survey of the neighborhood, of properties that we thought potentially might be redeveloped because of the condition of the structures or the uses of the property. Along with that, the report identified some potential redevelopment incentives that we thought might be needed to move forward with the redevelopment phase of this neighborhood conservation program. Those incentives included things such as a tax increment financing, a tax abatement program, which has been approved by the City Council for the neighborhood, property acquisition funding, developer financing, housing tax credits, and historic tax credits. A number of months ago, we began meeting with a neighborhood committee made up of property owners, residences, business owners, nonprofits, financial institutions, representatives of the City Council, to talk about more specific ideas for what we should do within the neighborhood conservation program area in terms of redevelopment activities and what type of redevelopment incentives we should continue to pursue. As part of those discussions, since we did have a representative and do have a representative of Citibank on this task force, we were approached a number of months ago about the possibility of developing a revolving line of credit that could be used to purchase redevelopment sites within this neighborhood conservation area. And so before you tonight is the second reading of a proposed ordinance that would authorize the city to undertake this program over the next 5-year period with a $5 million line of credit. We're very pleased that Citibank came to us with this idea, and we hope that we'll be able to continue forward with it. We did have a discussion today with the fiscal committee, and there were a number of questions raised about details of the program. We indicated that we would like to continue to work to address some of those questions, more specific things such as what exactly will the guidelines be for the use of this line of credit, and how will those guidelines tie in with this proposed ordinance. We talked about how the city could reach out to other financial institutions and other businesses within the community to partner on this program or other programs that we've identified for development incentives. We talked a lot about the steps that would be involved in actually purchasing a project, a parcel, packaging a redevelopment project, and then bringing that back to the City Council for approval. What type of financial analysis would be undertaken, and again, how would these guidelines be used so that we make a smart decision to buy land and then make it available for redevelopment. So given that long explanation, the recommendation by the fiscal committee is to defer this second reading to the October 9th City Council meeting, which would give staff hopefully time to put additional information together and to continue to address an interest in reaching out to other entities within the community to help with this process. We do have representatives here tonight with Citibank, and again, we thank them for taking the initiative to bring this forward. And if members of the fiscal committee would like to comment on my summary of what happened today, that would be great as well. So in a nutshell, the request tonight is to defer this to the October 9th City Council meeting.
Yeah, just so everybody knows that the fiscal committee strongly supports the intent and what's trying to be accomplished with this program. There just were too many unknowns and details that we weren't comfortable moving forward without having, and we want to put this in a form of a resolution that strongly or clearly spells out exactly what the policies and procedures are going to be, and we're confident that we'll be able to work that out in another month.
Just so everyone understands, I think it's important to understand that even though this committee has been working for quite some time, and I appreciate everything they're doing. They sound like a pretty committed group of people, and I think that's a pretty remarkable thing for this neighborhood. We've only been privy to what you've been up to for a couple weeks now, and as Pat said, I think the committee is very excited about this, and we're probably going to come to you next month with our full enthusiastic support of this. We just received some of the guidelines and other documentation we asked for at our last meeting. Just received that today, so we'll be kind of going through that. And we've asked Mike to share that with the rest of the council. There's no sense keeping you in the dark. You might as well see it as well. So going forward, it'll be all 8 of us that sees that information. And hopefully when we bring this back on the 9th, we'll be ready to approve it.
Yeah, I just have a few questions, Mike. Can you explain for all of us on the council the necessity for having this put into a form of a bond? Why not just say this is a line of credit?
I'm going to have Gene help explain that better than I can with the financial terminology here.
I'm not a lawyer, but my understanding is that any borrowing that a municipality does in the state of South Dakota is a bond. And those bonds obviously can take various forms. So this does have to meet some criteria, since it is a bond that is tied back to our indentures. And however, it in reality will be functioning as a revolving line of credit.
Okay. And then also, I have another question. In regard to the $5 million line of credit, why aren't we taking a look at other banks to see if we can get a better rate?
That was part of the discussion that we had today with the fiscal committee, and this, as I stated before, really came to us as a proposal from Citibank. We have been working with other financial institutions. In fact, our neighborhood redevelopment committee has at least 4 banks represented on the committee. And during all the neighborhood meetings that we've had since early this year, we've always talked about the redevelopment incentives that we would like to put into place. And if any of those folks have ideas of how they could be implemented, then they should bring those proposals to us. So we have asked for different ideas. Citibank happens to be the one that came to us initially with this proposal. And we certainly are open to other financial institutions, other businesses within the community that would like to partner with us. But we didn't see a desire or a need to go out and do a competitive bidding process. What we would like to do over the next month is contact other banks and just see what other ideas or whether other input that they would have on this proposal.
I guess that's my primary concern. We didn't go out for any other competitive bids. So we don't know whether we have the best bid or not. Maybe we do, but without any competitive bidding, we really don't know. And I guess I would hope that we would still go out and get some competitive bids to verify that we did get the best deal.
That's part of the discussion that we had today, that the fiscal committee would like staff to make contact with other banks in the community and find out what their level of interest might be.
So are we going to have a formal proposal then going out to other banks?
The fiscal committee did not make that as a recommendation.
So it's just going to be kind of an informal request. So it doesn't. We're not having any formal bidding then.
The fiscal committee did not make that as part of their recommendation.
Okay. Another question I have here is in our notes. It says the city would like to purchase or has purchased land in the Mayor's Conservation District. Now, or has purchased is in parentheses. Just to clarify, have we purchased any land?
We have not purchased any land since this program is not in place. There have been land purchases made recently through community development and Sioux Falls Housing.
Mm-hmm.
And the Sioux Empire Housing Partnership has also identified a potential land purchase.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yep.
Further question, is there a motion to defer this until October 9th?
So moved.
Let's move. Is there a second?
Second, Costello.
Costello seconded. Further comments on that motion? Seeing no further comments on the motion, all in favor of the motion to defer item 36 to October 9th, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Council members Jameson,
Yes.
Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Knutson,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Staggers,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Costello.
Yes.
All members present and voted. Item 36 has been deferred 7 yes, 1 excused to October 9th. 37.
Second reading, rezone 2007-06-32, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at 5500 West 26th Street and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is a current location of the Resurrection Lutheran Church, located on the north side of 26th Street, west of Marion Road. The church has been approached by a local telecommunications company that would like to locate a monopole structure on this property. And in order for that to be allowed, the property would have to be rezoned along with a conditional use permit. The church is in favor of this. The proposed monopole would be approximately 100 foot high with a cross to help what we call stealth design. The church so far has been working with neighbors, and at this point we have not had any neighborhood concerns expressed. The church has made application for a conditional use permit, which is on the City Planning Commission agenda tomorrow night, pending the outcome of this rezoning request tonight.
Questions of Mike on item 37? Bob James.
Mike, where can a tower be constructed on that site that will not affect the property, the distance from residential and so forth that we have in ordinance already? It must limit where that could be.
Right, the conditional use permit does address the safety concerns, what the requirements would be as far as the location to adjacent property, and so that would be part of our review that we would have with that.
Okay.
So that will be addressed.
Thank you.
Further questions of Mike on item 37? Others that wish to address the council on item number 37? Come forward, give your name and address, please.
Good evening. My name is Peter Campbell. I'm with Verizon Wireless. I live at 4622 18th Avenue South, Minneapolis, Minnesota. I've been here before. And there actually was two purposes in the need to rezone. When I first approached Resurrection Lutheran Church, a little over a year ago, it was the only property that was large enough within a very small area of our need to cover our customers and future customers that would have enough setback space for a tower. If we would have moved further east towards the high V, it was in an area where we didn't need coverage. This was what we call in my industry a shoehorned site where we needed a small tower and a small coverage window to offload some other surrounding sites. So while we discussed the possibility with Resurrection Lutheran Church and attended many meetings with the entire congregation to talk about design elements and things of that nature, the idea of the church eventually hoping to further develop their property into a daycare or add on to the back of the building for early childhood education or daycare became part of our design element. For example, in the lease that we have with the church now, if we were to eventually be approved, there's landscaping dollars to be set aside, so once they were to have the dollars to add on to their facility, they could tie in landscaping to that building. The plans that they had shown me that were done years and years and years ago were to eventually develop to the north of their property. And so if the rezoning were to be approved this evening, the conditional use permit application going before planning tomorrow does address in detail all the setbacks that would be that would go under the new I-2, I believe it is, no, I'm sorry, S institutional district. Myself and the church sat down and looked at the code and tried to determine another zoning district that would, one, suit their future development needs, also be able to allow our possible development of a telecommunications facility to move forward. In doing so, we, myself and Resurrection Lutheran Church, had a neighborhood meeting where we contacted, I believe it was 750 feet out from every edge of the property line. Ultimately, I believe it was 200 plus residences received a notification of public meeting to address the development and the rezoning and the possibility of that rezoning ultimately ending up with a conditional use permit application going before planning. So the community at large is very much aware of what we're planning to do, and I think that's pretty much it.
Questions?
Yeah, I was just curious, with FCC regulations, ultimately, I'm not sure if this is, well, just this scenario. Ultimately, if you would have all this disapproved, could the FCC override all of this?
If we were approved by your commission and the planning commission tomorrow?
No, if you weren't. I'm just curious.
If we were not approved?
Yeah, the authority of the FCC over antennas and radio transmissions and things like that in a community.
No, I don't believe that the FCC in this instance would trump your commission at all. I think if we were applying in a particular area where it was a permitted use and we were to apply and be denied, then the FCC would have right to step in under the Telecommunications Act of 1996 and require you to allow us to construct.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
But that's not the case here.
Further questions? Others that wish to address the council on item number 37?
Thank you.
If not, is there a motion by the council to approve?
Move to approve, Litz.
I second the motion, Knutson.
Knutson seconds. Litz made the motion. Knutson seconded. Further comments? I see no further comments. All in favor of the motion to approve item 37, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Council members Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 37 has been approved, 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 38.
Second reading, rezone an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at East Madison Street and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. Planning Commission recommends approval.
This property is approximately 17 acres in size, located at the northeast corner of Madison Street and Dubuque Avenue. The proposed development for this is approximately 74 townhome units.
Questions of Mike on item 38? Others wish to address the council item number 38. Is there a motion to approve?
Move for approval, Jameson.
Jameson moved. Is there a second?
Second, Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh seconded. Further comments? I see no further comments. Go ahead, Bob.
Mr. Mayor, I did get an email concerning erosion coming off of this property, perceived or, future erosion coming off this property, as well as concerns about the sewer access that we vacated last month that would service this area, I believe. And I think, Mike, are you aware of, did you get the email as well?
No, I did not.
Okay, well, I'll tell you, Mike, why don't I just bring that to you, and
All right.
we'll go over those concerns.
We'll get it figured out.
Very good, thank you.
Further comments? We've got a motion been made and seconded to approve item number 38. Further discussion? I see no further discussion. All in favor of the motion to approve, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Council members Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson? Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
All members present voted?
Knutson said yes.
Okay, Knutson's a yes. Before we call the roll, 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 38 has been approved. Item 39.
Second reading, rezone an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at 420 East 8th Street and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. Planning Commission recommends approval.
This property is just approximately 1 acre in size on the north side of 8th Street. It is within the updated downtown boundary. The Craftsman Creek Gallery is the current land use on the property. The owner is now requesting the rezoning to change the business plan for this property. Along with the rezoning, the intent would be to come back with a conditional use permit application for on-sale alcohol. That conditional use permit has been filed and is on the Planning Commission agenda for tomorrow night, pending the outcome of this rezoning request.
Questions of Mike on 39? Others wish to address the council item number 39? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved, Litz.
Let's move. Is there a second? Quiet.
Second.
Second. Kavanaugh seconded. Further discussion? Not all in favor of approving 39 will vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Council members Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 39 has been approved, 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 40.
Second reading, rezone an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at South Ebenezer Avenue and West Graceland Court and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is approximately 8 acres of land. It's located on the north side of Skunk Creek, west of Interstate 29, east of Marion Road. This is an area that has been developing for some time into multifamily residential. The proposed development plan for this phase includes 2 4-plexes, 1 6-plex, and 3 8-plex multifamily units.
Questions of Mike on item number 40? Others who wish to address the council on item number 40? Is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve, Litz.
Let's move. Is there a second?
Second, Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh seconded. Further comments? I see no further comments. All in favor of the motion to approve, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmembers Jameson,
Yes.
Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Knutson,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Staggers,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Costello.
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 40 has been approved, 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 41.
Second reading, rezone and ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at 1 block west of Hughes Avenue and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is approximately an 8-acre parcel on the south side of 85th Street near the Platinum Valley development area. The proposed use of this property will be for single-family residential, along with a private clubhouse, which will require a conditional use permit application.
Questions of Mike on item number 41. Others who wish to address the council on item 41. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Let's move. Is there a second? Seconds are hard to come by here.
Yes, I make a
Okay.
I second.
Okay, we've got a motion made and seconded to approve. Further discussion? See no further. Rob Jameson.
Mike, is that going to be a private road or a city road, city street?
This will be proposed a public right-of-way,
Okay, thank you.
Tuscan Club Circle, public street.
Further questions? We've got a motion made and seconded to approve item 41. Further discussion? I see no further discussion. All in favor of the motion to approve, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmembers Jameson,
Yes.
Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Knutson,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Staggers,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Costello.
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 41 is approved, 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 42.
Second reading, rezone and ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at 4,000 Southwest Avenue and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. Planning Commission recommends approval.
This property is just over 1 acre. It's a vacated railroad right-of-way adjacent to the existing Glory House group home. Glory House is proposing to expand into this area. The rezoning would allow that, along with a proposed conditional use permit, which they have applied for. They are on the Planning Commission agenda for tomorrow night, pending the outcome of this rezoning.
It'll be noted that Councilmember Litz is excused from item 42. Are there others that wish to, there's questions of Mike? Others that wish to address the council on item number 42? Not, is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve, Brown.
Brown moved. Is
Second
there
the motion.
Knutson seconded. Further comments? See no further comments. All in favor of the motion to approve item 42, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmembers Jameson,
Yes.
Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Knutson,
Yes.
Staggers,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Costello.
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 42 has been approved, 6 yes, 2 excused. Item 43.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, providing supplemental appropriations, CVB 75,000.
Gene Roanhorse, Director of Finance. This is a supplemental appropriation in the amount of $75,000 to be used by the Convention and Visitors Bureau for promoting the convention center for the remainder of 2007. The $75,000 is going to consist of about $29,500 for personnel costs. That'll be for 2 sales managers. There will be about $12,000 spent on a sales blitz, calls in Washington, D.C., Chicago, Illinois, and Minneapolis. There will be, this for 2 trade shows, will be about $11,200. Advertising expenses, materials that will be created and distributed, $21,200, and then some printing miscellaneous items for $1,000. So that totals up to $75,000 is what this money will be used for this for the remainder of 2007.
Questions of Gene on item number 43?
Yeah, I was wondering if I could ask a question that we're going to be voting on the budget next week. I'm trying to recall, I don't have the budget in front of me, but is CVB getting about $938,000 next year?
If you take all of the revenue that they get from the property, from the entertainment tax, together with the subsidies and that, and the additional 150 that will be in the budget for next year, it is about $935,000.
So that includes, once again, just clarify, it includes the 150,000 additional.
I believe so.
Is that right?
Is it, Terry? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Thank you.
Further questions? Others who wish to address the council, item number 43. Is there a motion?
Move for approval, Jamison.
Jamison moves. Is there a second?
Second, Brown.
Brown seconded. Further comments? Kevin?
While I don't object to what's being proposed here or who's doing it, I do object to using entertainment tax dollars to do it with. Any entertainment tax dollars that we have left over should be used for what it was intended for originally, and that is paying down the public debt on the Washington Pavilion and Convention Center, and if there's anything left over after that, it should be used for operations, subsidizing those operations. Secondly, we need to understand that this is $75,000 this year. It's going to be $150,000 next year and every year thereafter, and probably escalating. And I think initially I'd like to see, like to ask CVB to take this out of their unreserved fund balance, because they have 6 months worth of unreserved fund balance right now. That's 50% of their budget. We don't ask any department in the city government to have that big of an unreserved fund balance. If they do, we come looking for the money.
Okay, further questions? We got a motion made and seconded to approve item 43. Further discussion? Seeing no further discussion. Seeing no further, are you, okay, come on up.
Good evening, Terry Ellis Schmidt, Convention and Visitors Bureau. I just wanted to comment on the reserve. It is very strongly suggested in our industry by our international association that a Convention and Visitors Bureau have at least a 6-month reserve in case of, something happening in a community or a state whereby the room tax drops quite a lot and they are unable to continue to collect that room tax. If that should happen, then with that reserve in place, the Bureau would be able to continue to sell that community, since we do sell for future business, so that we wouldn't have any lag time in selling the community. I just wanted to make sure you understood that.
Pat?
Terry, can you explain to us, in your experience in CVB, how the most prevalent method to financing CVBs out there in the country, what's the most used source? Is it city? Is it tax revenue? Where's it coming from?
Room tax is definitely the primary source of funding convention and visitor bureaus. There are also bureaus who have memberships, and they are typically standalone bureaus. But room tax, entertainment tax is the primary funding source for convention and visitor bureaus.
Is it common for CVBs to get funding directly from municipalities that they're
Oh,
in?
yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Kevin?
Terry, the entertainment tax that we're talking about is separate from the room tax, just so we're clear.
Yes.
A fairly substantial portion of your budget comes from the lodging tax, as it's
Yes,
called.
that's correct.
That's been showing some fairly healthy increases every year, year over year. Somewhere in the neighborhood of 6, 8. I just noticed in the July financial report, it's up close to 10%. We can't rely on that every month.
Right.
What do you do with that additional every year growth?
Well, we budget for it right out of the chute from the very beginning. We use the numbers that are given to us by Jean's office, and also what we have in our accounting from room tax patterns that we're watching. We also look at the calendars to see what we have on the books in that forthcoming year, and then we try to budget accordingly. It does get a little bit tricky because the city is on the calendar year, and the Chamber of Commerce, of which we are a division, functions October to October. Additionally, room tax comes to us at about a 3-month lag. So we're always trying, at the end of the year, as we are right now, we're always trying to guesstimate where we're going to be those last 3 or 4 months, so that we can spend our money accordingly and never go over budget. We've been fortunate in the last couple of years that we end up having, a surge toward the end of the summer, and then we have had some leftover money, and rather than just going out and spending it frivolously, we make sure it goes into the reserves so that when a year comes like the one that we are anticipating, where if you decide to allow us to do the long-term sales for the convention center, we do believe that we'll have to dip into those reserves above and beyond the 75 and the 150 that we are requesting from you. So in order to do what we believe is necessary to position the convention center, we do believe we'll have to dip into those reserves. Not a huge amount, but some.
Kermit?
Yeah, Terry, can you tell us specifically what the reserve is right now in dollars?
It's right at about 500,000.
500,000.
Which is, again, according to our association, about where we should be.
Further?
Terry, I imagine you do this, but just so you can help shed some light on it, you must review this with your board and at least on an annual basis, and they're comfortable with the level of reserves that we have?
Absolutely. Let me share with you that not only on an annual basis, but every single month, the Convention and Visitors Bureau Executive Committee, as well as the full Convention and Visitors Bureau Council, reviews our entire financial statement. Additionally, the Chamber's Budget and Finance Committee reviews it on a monthly basis. And I have with me this evening current Chair Kevin Nyberg, incoming Chair Kathy Clark, Treasurer Steve Nyhog, and they have, and if any of them would like to speak or you'd like them to speak, certainly have all reviewed it. We go over it with fine-tooth combs every single month, and by all means, certainly I would never move forward without their approval.
Further questions? Bob Litz.
You mentioned a standalone CVB. What is that?
That's where the Convention and Visitors Bureau is an organization that is a Convention and Visitors Bureau. Some bureaus live with chambers of commerce and are divisions of a chamber, as we are right now. In the majority of the cities across the nation, they are standalone organizations so that they have their own membership, their own organization. We've been very fortunate here in that our chamber has been a very good umbrella organization, and we have gotten along very well and go down, many of the same paths trying to achieve the same goals. So simply, Bob, it's rather than being with a Chamber of Commerce, we would be a Sioux Falls Convention and Visitors Bureau standalone operation.
Thank you. Other questions?
I've always wondered why we don't have a standalone, because it appears to me that even though the city does benefit from increased tourism and visitors, clearly one of the primary recipients, one of the major beneficiaries of this increased tourism that you bring in is the retail community, the travel, the lodging, the entertainment industry. Why don't we have a standalone where we have subscriptions or memberships?
Back in the 70s, when I think I probably wasn't born yet, I'm not sure, but I'm sure. Back in the 70s, the city, as I understand, and Evan Nolte with the Chamber is here, went to the Chamber and asked the Chamber to take under their organizational umbrella a Convention and Visitors Bureau, and if the Chamber would agree to do that, then the city would fund that Convention and Visitors Bureau. Is that correct, Evan?
So there's never been an effort to solicit memberships or support from the private sector?
We do have a lot of partners that we co-op with for advertising or packages or going to trade and travel shows. So we have a lot of partners, but we don't have formal membership, no.
Bob Litz.
Well, maybe one of your committees, would care to take a look at that. I could understand being under the auspices of the Chamber of Commerce in your infancy, but maybe it's time. Maybe it's something you could look at. I'm not saying do it, but certainly deserve some scrutiny.
I'm just curious, Terry, if you were going to start a brand-new Convention and Visitors Bureau, how would you organize it and how would you fund it?
Well, if it was a standalone, you mean?
Yeah.
If it was a standalone, we would work with you to maintain the room tax portion of the budget, and then we would have, I can't imagine that we wouldn't go out and seek memberships and seek branding partners. Perhaps XYZ company would invest, so much money, and they would be a major brand of the Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Would you include a bid district?
We'd very much like to look into that.
Do you plan on pursuing that?
Well, there have been discussions for about a year. In fact, when Rapid City put their fee on, of course, that really generated a lot of conversation here. And since that time, we have been discussing it. And in fact, I have about 7 names on a list. Executive committee has talked about it, and we are going to form a committee to look at that. I'm guessing it would probably take 12 to 18 months to get it all put together, to go through all the steps, get all of the hotels in place, to buy into it, and then move forward.
Further questions? We've got a motion that's been made and seconded to approve item number 43. There further discussion? Not. All in favor of the motion to approve will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Councilmembers Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
No.
Knutson?
No.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
All members present voted, 5 yes, 2 no, and 1 excused. Item 43 has been approved. Item 44.
Deferred action, preliminary subdivision plan, 2007-07-17, a resolution of the City of Sioux Falls approving the preliminary plan of Friends Edition, 57th and South Dakota Highway 11.
This property is on the northeast corner of East 57th Street and Highway 11, and this was deferred from the last council meeting because of some ongoing discussions with the city and property owners regarding the street layout and the lot configuration. A revised preliminary plan was prepared for tonight's meeting, and that one is very hard to see, but essentially the issue comes down to a proposed crossing over an existing drainage way. And just this afternoon, it was brought to my attention that there's still some ongoing questions with how that crossing will be funded between the property owners, the city, and what impact it will have on adjacent properties. And so rather than debating that again tonight, I contacted the applicant as well as other property owners, and they've agreed to request a deferral one more time to next Monday night with the hope that we can get this last issue resolved over the next week. So we would like to defer this again to the September 10th City Council meeting.
Is there a motion to do that?
So moved.
Litz moved. Is there a second?
Second, Kavanaugh.
Second, Kavanaugh. The motion has been made and seconded to defer item 44 until September 10th. It'll be noted that Councilmember Jamison is excused from this item. All in favor of the deferral will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Councilmembers Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 44 has been deferred. 6 yes, 2 excused to September 10th. Item 45.
A resolution authorizing the City of Sioux Falls to gift the City of Wilmot, Hoven, and Springfield 3 police vehicles.
Good evening, Doug Barthel, Police Chief. Come to you again this year with a request. Annually, I get requests from cities in need across the state for their police departments requesting one of our surplus police vehicles. This year, again, put out, solicited if there were cities that might have a need this year, received several requests, and we selected from those the top 3 with the greatest need, Wilmot, Hoven, and Springfield. Just for an example, one of them has one police vehicle. It's got over 200,000 miles on it, and their annual city budget for the police department is $15,000, and that also includes the salary for the police officer. So it's difficult for them to buy equipment for their city. We look at it as a good way to, because of the few $1,000s that we might receive for these cars on auction, we think it's a great way to give back to some of these smaller communities that come to our city and shop and provide tax dollars here. I would note that the vehicles that we give, that we surplus, all have at or over 100,000 miles on them, and many of our cars are used for other city uses, but there are a few that are auctioned every year, and these would come from that group.
Questions during on item 45, Kermit?
Yeah, Doug, can you say something about the police cars we're giving? Are we giving them cars with 100,000 miles, or?
Yes,
Can you say-
I said, yes, they're at least 3 years old and with about 100,000 miles on them. In the past, we've tried keeping our cars past 100,000 miles, and frankly, the repair bills didn't justify what the car was worth. And so with our cars being driven 24 hours a day, every day of the year, they don't hold up much longer at about 100,000. For some of these smaller communities, they aren't putting near the miles on them that we would, and in comparison to what they're driving now, it's definitely an upgrade for them.
And we take all the equipment out of them so we can reuse it. So.
Chief, just as a testimonial to the good use of this program, I was speaking in a community south of Sioux Falls recently, and the police chief there sought me out to say thank you for the vehicle we had given them. That's goodwill that far surpasses what little we would get at an auction on these. So thank you for administering this program.
Others, questions? Others that wish to address the council on item number 45? Is there a motion to approve?
I so move. Knutson.
Knutson moves, second?
Second, Brown.
Brown seconds. See no further questions, all in favor of the motion to approve item 45, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmembers Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
All members present voted 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 45 has been approved. Item 46.
Preliminary subdivision plan, 2007-07-12, a resolution of the City of Sioux Falls approving the preliminary plan of Tuscan Club Estates Edition, West 85th Street, west of Hughes Avenue.
This is the property that you previously considered tonight as item 41 for the rezoning to single-family. This is 8 acres of land west of 85th Street and west of Hughes Avenue. The subdivision plan shows this property being developed into 18 lots, and the recommendation is for approval of this plan.
Questions of Mike on item 46? Others who wish to address the council on item number 46? Is there a motion?
Move for approval.
Kavanaugh moved. Is there a second?
Second, Jameson.
Jameson seconded. Further comments? Seeing no further comments, all in favor of the motion to approve item 46, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmembers Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
All members present have voted 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 46 has been approved. Item 47.
A resolution including certain contiguous territory within the corporate limits of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, annexation 2007-0401, Sunset Meadows, 69th Street and I-229.
Tonight, we have 5 petitions by property owners requesting annexation. And if you approve all of these, we will be adding about 500 acres of land to the city limits. This first item is approximately 200 acres in size, located in the southwest corner of 69th Street and Interstate 229 and 29. The proposed development plan for this will be a mixed use, and this is being recommended for approval.
Questions of Mike on item 47? Others who wish to address the council on item 47? Is there a motion?
So moved, Litz.
Litz moved. Is there a second?
Second, Jameson.
Jameson seconded. Further comments on that motion to approve? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion will vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmembers Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
All members present voted. Items 47 been approved. 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 48.
Resolution including certain contiguous territory within the corporate limits of the city of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, annexation 2007-07-05, Van Heuvelin at 85th Street and Western Avenue.
This is approximately 64 acres of land. It is located on the south side of 85th Street, west of Western Avenue, and it's proposed for future residential development.
Questions of Mike on item 48? Permit.
Yeah, Mike, do we just have one owner of that land, or?
Lamar and Norma J. Van Heuvelin.
Oh, okay.
I probably pronounced the name wrong, but that's the petitioner.
Okay, thank you.
Further questions of Mike on item number 48? Others that wish to address the council on item number 48? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved, Litz.
Let's move. Second?
Second, Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh seconded. Further comments? Seeing no further comments, all in favor of the motion to approve, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmembers Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 48 has been approved, 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 49.
A resolution including certain contiguous territory within the corporate limits of the city of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, annexation 2007-08-02, Hazeltine at Benson Road and Marion Road.
This property is approximately 162 acres in size. It is located on the north side of Benson Road and west of Marion Road. The proposed development will include mixed uses of residential and non-residential. There's one owner requesting this petition for annexation.
Questions of Mike on item 49? Others that wish to address the council on item 49? Is there a motion?
So moved, Litz.
Let's move to the second.
Second, Brown.
Brown seconded. Further comments? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion will vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmembers Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 49 has been approved, 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 50.
A resolution including certain contiguous territory within the corporate limits of the city of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, annexation 2007-07-04, 69th Street, Greblos.
This is an existing residential property that is surrounded by the city limits. We've been working with the property owner for some time, and they are voluntarily petitioning to bring this into the city limits.
Questions of
There's
Mike
no
on item number 50? Others wish to address the council on item 50?
Yeah, you've been working with the petitioner. How much are they going to be paying to come into the city?
I don't have the specifics on all the details of that.
Okay. Are they here tonight, or?
I don't think so. You want to speak on their behalf? You have to come up here.
The house.
No, you're not. That's,
Oh, we can't. Do you know how much it's going to spend?
Further questions? Others that wish? Bob, James?
Mike, is this part of Surrey Hills?
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Further questions?
Oh, yeah. This is really voluntary then, right, Mike?
Yes, it's by petition of the property
Okay.
owner. Yes, I assure you of that.
Okay.
Further questions? Is there a motion to approve?
Move for approval, Jamison.
Jamison moved. Is there a second?
Second, Litz.
Litz seconded. Further comments on that motion? Being none, all in favor of that motion will vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmembers Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
All members present have voted, 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 50 has been approved. Item 51.
A resolution including certain contiguous territory within the corporate limits of the city of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, annexation 2007-08-01, Meadows Edge at Dubuque Avenue and Madison Street.
This is approximately 75 acres of land in the northeast part of Sioux Falls. It is located south of Madison Street and east of Dubuque Avenue, and the proposed development is for future residential uses. The recommendation is to approve this request, and this is also a petition by the property owner.
Questions of Mike on item number 51?
Mike, we may be a little premature, but is there anything in there with regard to a neighborhood school or a park?
Yes, we are working with the applicant as well as the adjoining property on a neighborhood park site.
Thanks.
Further questions? Others who wish to address the council on item number 51? Is there a motion?
So moved, Litzen.
Litz moved. Is there a second?
Second,
Kavanaugh seconded. Further comments on that motion? I see none. All in favor of the motion will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Councilmembers Jamison,
Yes.
Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Knutson,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Stagers,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Costello.
Yes.
All members present vote. Item 51 has been approved. 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 52.
A resolution of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, approving the placement of a sculpture located on city property.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Russ Sorensen, representing the City Planning Office on this item. Special guests with me this evening are Jim Clark, the Director of Sculpture Walk, and other Irish individuals and families in the Sioux Falls area, and Mr. Don Kearney, Director of Parks and Recreation. This art project is known as the Potato Man, is a popular 2006 walk sculpture that is in the process of being purchased by several Irish individuals and families in honor of the Irish immigrants who settled in the Sioux Falls area. The sculpture is to be donated to the city for placement in the southwest corner of McKinnon Park. The park was named in honor of Mrs. Helen McKinnon, also of Irish descent, who donated the land in 1906. This colored bronze sculpture measures about 5 feet 8 inches and weighs approximately 250 pounds. It would be welded to a concrete pad or quartzite pedestal and maintained by Sculpture Walk volunteers. The proposed placement at the southwest corner is in keeping with the master plan for McKinnon Park, and the placement would be coordinated with the other master plan work, including landscaping in the area. The proposed location for the sculpture is in a highly visible park site area and would be illuminated at night, therefore reducing the risk of vandalism. This art project has been reviewed and supported by several city department agencies and representatives. The Sioux Falls Visual Arts Commission, along with the Parks and Recreation Board, have reviewed this proposal and respectfully recommend approval of the placement of this sculpture. It is felt that this sculpture is appropriate and respectfully acknowledges the city's Irish ancestry and culture and honors Mrs. Helen McKinnon. It is my understanding that the Sioux Falls Irish Club and the adjacent park neighbors are aware of this project proposal and have also endorsed this sculpture location in McKinnon Park. That concludes our report.
Questions, Russ, on item number 52? Kermit?
Yeah, is it completed, the sculpture, Russ?
Yes, it is complete, and it was part of Sculpture Walk 2006.
Oh.
And the
I
money
guess I
is-
don't remember what it looks like.
There should be an
Down by
example
the
in your
diner.
information
Down by
packet.
the- Right by the diner.
Okay.
Just right from there. Other questions of Russ? Others wish to address the council on item number 52?
Move to approve, Brown.
Brown moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Kavanaugh seconded. Further comments? Seeing no further comments, all in favor of that motion, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmembers Jamison,
Yes.
Kavanaugh,
Aye.
Knutson,
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Stagers.
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Costello.
Yes.
All members present voted 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 52
Thank
has
you.
been approved. Item 53.
A resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement between the City of Sioux Falls and the Sioux Falls Convention and Visitors Bureau for the long-term book at the Sioux Falls Convention Center.
Gene Roanhorse, Director of Finance. I'm pinch hitting for Gary tonight, so I'm not sure how much I can give you in detail on this. This is the contract that the city will enter into with the CVB for running the long-term book. That's 18 months and over for the convention center.
Questions of Gene on item number 53? Others?
Yeah. Gene, when is this going to be signed?
I don't know exactly when. I assume, the contract is ready, so it'll probably be in the next week or so.
I guess, wouldn't it be better for Terry to sign it and then we see it?
Well, I think you've had the contract.
But it might,
There's been
is
no
it going to
cha-
be changed,
there's
or
been
why
no-
hasn't it been
There's
signed?
been no changes.
Huh?
There's been no changes to the contract.
And there will not be any changes after we have,
Not if you approve them tonight.
okay, no changes, okay.
Further questions, Kevin?
Well, just to follow up, I would agree with Councilor Staggers that we see these, it's pretty routine that we see an on-sign contract or an agreement. I would be much more comfortable seeing a signature on it before it comes to the council. I have a question with regard to Section 9 insurance. I assume it does not specify in here that the CVB will be paying the insurance?
Paying insurance on,
There's a requirement in Section 9 that CVB shall secure insurance specified below, and then it goes on to talk about workers' comp, automobile, liability, commercial, general liability.
You're talking about whether that means the CVB pays for that
Yes.
insurance? Yes, I certainly would read that.
Okay. One final question. There's no provision in here for amendments, which I find a little unusual. Do we not usually have in agreements some procedure for amending the agreement?
Well, Section 13 does say that the contract may not be enlarged, modified, or altered except in writing signed by both parties and endorsed. So I would say that's the avenue of amendment.
Okay, so part of the endorsement would be bringing back the agreement to the council?
I would think so, Counselor. If you're voting on it now in the form it's in, if there are changes made, I would think the council would need to be apprised of that and vote on it again.
Thank you.
Further questions on item number 53? Others that wish to address the council on item number 53? Is there a motion?
Move for approval.
Okay, it's the last item we have here.
Second, Costello.
Who seconded? Costello seconded. Further comments? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to approve item 53, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmembers Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
No.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
All members present voted 6 yes, 1 no, and 1 excused. Item 53 has been approved. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Jameson.
Jameson moved, seconded. Who seconded?
Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh seconded that. All in favor of adjournment, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmembers Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
We stand adjourned.
Took a little longer than I thought.